The summer air in the small town was warm and full of the smell of grass and flowers. Daniel was only 10 years old, but he already liked to wander at night. While other children were busy with games or sleep, he often sat on the small hill behind, his house looking up at the stars. He felt the sky was calling him. He did not know why, but he always believed there was something out there waiting for him. One night, as he sat under the wide sky, Daniel saw something strange. A streak of light moved across the heavens, brighter than any shooting star. It came closer, brighter and brighter, until it landed in the forest not far from his town. His heart beat fast. Was it a falling star, or something else? Curious and full of courage, Daniel ran into the forest. The trees were tall, and the night was alive with the sound of crickets. He followed the glow until he reached a small clearing. There, in the middle of the grass, was something he could not believe. A small, shining craft, smooth and silver, shaped like a tear. The craft opened, and Daniel froze. From inside stepped a girl. She looked almost his age, maybe a little older. Her hair was silver white, glowing faintly in the dark. Her eyes were large and bright like jewels reflecting the stars above. She wore a soft flowing outfit that shimmered when she moved. For a moment, Daniel could not speak. He thought he was dreaming, but the girl smiled gently and said, in perfect English, "Don't be afraid. I will not hurt you." Daniel blinked. Who are you?" "My name is Solara," she said softly. "I come from far away, from beyond your sky." Daniel's mouth fell open. "You mean, from space?" Solara nodded. "Yes. My family is visiting this world, but only for a short time. I was curious about this place, so I came out." Daniel rubbed his eyes. "But you look like a person. I thought aliens would look scary." Solara laughed quietly, her voice like the sound of wind chimes. "Maybe some do, but we are not so different, Daniel." He was surprised. You know my name?" "I heard it when I was near your town," she explained. "Voices carry far for me." Daniel should have been afraid, but something about Solara felt safe. Instead of running, he sat on the grass, and she sat beside him. For hours they talked. She asked about Earth, about simple things, what children do for fun, how food tastes, what games people play. Daniel told her about fishing in the river, climbing trees and eating ice cream on hot days. In return, Solara told him about her world. She described oceans that shone with silver light, skies filled with 3 moons, and forests where the trees glowed softly at night. She said her people traveled among the stars, but she was still young, and this was her first visit to Earth. Day after day, Solara returned. Sometimes she landed her small craft far in the forest, and Daniel would sneak away to meet her. They laughed, played, and shared stories. Daniel showed her how to skip stones on the river. She showed him how to make a tiny crystal glow with just a touch of her hand. Slowly, they became close friends. Daniel did not care that she was different. To him, Solara was simply the best friend he ever had. But time passed quickly. One evening, Solara's face was sad. She looked at the stars as if they were calling her. "What's wrong?" Daniel asked. "My family is leaving soon," she whispered. "We cannot stay on Earth. It is not safe for us to be seen. We must return to the stars." Daniel's chest hurt. He could not imagine losing her. "But I don't want you to go." Solara looked at him with gentle eyes. "I don't want to go either, but we must. Still." She paused and reached out her hand. "We can make a promise." "A promise?" Daniel repeated. "Yes. When the stars call us, when you are older and the time is right, we will meet again. No matter how far apart we are, I will remember." Her voice was steady. "Will you remember too?" Daniel nodded quickly. "I promise I'll remember. I'll wait for you." Solara smiled. She touched her glowing crystal to his hand. It left a faint shimmer, like stardust, for just a moment before fading. "This is our bond," she said softly. "No matter where we are, the memory will stay." The next morning, when Daniel ran back to the clearing, the craft was gone. The grass was pressed flat, but Solara was nowhere to be seen. For weeks, Daniel returned to the forest, hoping to find her. But she never came back. Years passed. Daniel grew older. He studied hard, played with other children, and later went to work like everyone else. Life became busy. The memory of Solara sometimes felt like a dream, a story he had imagined. And yet, at night when he looked at the stars, he still remembered her silver eyes and her words, "We will meet again." Deep in his heart, he believed in the promise. What Daniel did not know was that far across the stars, Solara also looked up at her sky. She never forgot the boy who taught her to skip stones, who laughed with her under the moonlight, and who promised to meet her again. For her, the promise was more than memory. It was destiny. Years rolled by like pages in a book. Daniel was no longer the small boy who waited under the stars. He had grown into a man, tall and strong, with hands skilled in building and fixing. Life had taken him far from his small hometown. Now he lived among the stars themselves, working as an engineer on Orion Station, a great ring-shaped station that orbited Earth. From the wide windows of the station, Daniel often looked down at the blue planet below. Earth was beautiful from up here, covered in oceans and clouds. Yet even after years in space, a quiet loneliness lived inside him. Daniel had friends, co-workers, and duties. But deep in his heart, he sometimes thought of his childhood. He remembered the strange summer when he met a girl with silver hair and glowing eyes. He remembered her laugh, her crystal, and her promise. But he always shook his head and smiled sadly. It was only a dream, he told himself, a child's imagination. Life on Orion Station was busy. Daniel repaired machines, checked engines, and trained younger workers. Every day was filled with tasks. There was little time to think about childhood dreams. But one night, everything changed. The alarm sounded across the station. Red lights flashed. A voice came from the speakers. "Unidentified. Object approaching. All personnel to observation deck." Daniel dropped his tools and rushed with the others. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists gathered by the large windows. Outside, space was dark and endless, but there, glowing like a falling star, was a ship. It was unlike any human craft. Smooth, curved, and shining with silver light, it looked almost alive. Whispers filled the room. "Is it alien? First contact? Should we be ready for war?" Daniel's heart pounded. Something about the ship felt strangely familiar, though he could not say why. The alien craft slowed and stopped near the station. A docking signal was exchanged. Against all fears, the mysterious vessel connected peacefully. Everyone waited in tense silence as the docking doors opened. From the glowing mist of the ship, figures appeared. They were tall, graceful, and dressed in flowing clothes that shimmered like water. Their eyes were bright, and their skin glowed faintly under the station lights. Humans gasped. Aliens, real aliens, were standing before them. At the front of the group walked a woman. She moved with calm strength, her silver white hair falling like a river of light. Her eyes, large and shining, scanned the humans before resting on Daniel. Time froze for him. It could not be, but it was. The woman was no stranger. She was Solara, the same girl he had met in the forest so many years ago. Only now she was grown, taller, older, more regal. Her face was sharper, her presence stronger. But her eyes, those shining eyes, were the same. Daniel's mouth went dry. He gripped the railing. This is impossible, he thought. She can't be real. She can't be here. The station commander stepped forward, speaking firmly. "I am Commander Hale. Welcome to Orion Station. State your purpose." Solara bowed, slightly, her voice calm yet powerful. "I am Princess Solara of the Lumerian Starborn. We come in peace. We seek friendship with humanity." Her words spread a wave of shock. People whispered again. "Princess? Starborn? Is this safe?" But Daniel hardly heard them. Solara was looking directly at him. Her lips moved in the human language she had once spoken to him as a child. "I kept our promise," she whispered. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. That night the station was filled with tension. The arrival of aliens was no small matter. Leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to welcome them, others feared a trap. Soldiers stood ready, watching every alien movement. Daniel stayed quiet, but his mind was racing. She remembered. All this time, he sat alone in his quarters, staring at the stars outside his window. The memory of their childhood came rushing back. The forest, the crystal, the promise. For years he thought it was a dream, but she was real. She was here. A soft sound came from his door. It slid open, and there she was. Solara. Daniel stood quickly. You shouldn't be here. The commander." She raised her hand gently. "I had to see you." Her voice was calm but warm, filled with emotion. "Daniel, I told you long ago we would meet again. Did you think I would forget?" Daniel struggled for words. I thought I made it all up. You disappeared, and I was just a child." Solara stepped closer, her silver eyes shining. "Children do not lie with their hearts. You believed in me then. Believe in me now." Daniel felt his chest tighten. But why me? Why come back after all these years? Solara lowered her gaze. "Because my people need hope. We face dangers you cannot yet see. But when I was young, I met a boy on a distant world who showed me kindness, joy, and courage. That boy was you. I remembered the promise, Daniel." It is. The morning light of Orion Station cut through the observation windows, bathing the metal halls in pale gold. Daniel paced quietly in the engineering bay, though his mind was far away. Solara's arrival had changed everything. He could not focus on repairs or schedules. Every sound, every movement in the station reminded him of her. Finally, he could not resist. He left his workbench and made his way to the docking bay where Solara's silver ship rested quietly. She stood there, watching the stars, her silver-white hair catching the light. "Solara," Daniel whispered. She turned at the sound of his voice. Her expression softened almost shyly for the first time. "Daniel," she said, and her voice carried a strange mixture of joy and relief. "You came." "I had to," Daniel said, closing the distance between them. I don't know how to explain everything. I thought I imagined you all. Those years ago." Solara smiled, taking a small step closer. "You didn't imagine me. And I never forgot. Every day I remembered our time together, our promise." Daniel felt his chest tighten. He remembered the forest, the crystal, the summer nights. You really kept the promise." "I did," she said softly. "And I had to. Not just for us, but for my people. Daniel, there is much you do not know. My world, my people, they face dangers, and I need someone I trust to help." Daniel blinked. "You want me to... what? Help you?" "Yes," Solara replied. Her gaze was steady. "Humans have a strength that we often lack: courage, hope, and determination. These qualities are rare among my people now. You remind me of them. I need you to help bridge the gap between humans and the Lumerian starborn." Daniel swallowed hard. The words made sense, but the weight of them was enormous. Humans and aliens working together. The station would never accept that so easily. And yet, he could not deny the pull in his heart. Solara had trusted him once, and somehow he knew he could not refuse her. I will help you," he said finally. "But we have to be careful. The station, the commanders, they might not trust this." Solara nodded. "I know. We must be discreet for now. But I believe in you, Daniel, and I trust you to make the right choices." Their hands brushed briefly as they spoke. and Daniel felt a spark that was both old and new. Memories of laughter in the forest, of skipping stones, of a promise made under the stars, came flooding back. The bond they shared was real, deeper than anything he had ever known. The first challenge came quickly. While Daniel worked in the engineering bay, Solara showed him alien technology from her ship, crystals that stored energy, devices that could create shields, and machines that could communicate across light years in seconds. Daniel's mind raced as he realized the potential. "This is incredible," he said. "With this, we could improve Earth's defenses, even reach other worlds faster, but it could also be dangerous if used the wrong way." Solara nodded gravely. "Yes, that is why I must be careful, and why I need your guidance. You understand human limits. You can help me teach my people that hope is more than a weapon. It is strength." As they worked together, Daniel felt a deep connection growing, not just from their childhood bond, but from this shared purpose. Hours passed, and they barely noticed. They were creating, planning, and dreaming together, just as they had long ago in the forest, only now on a scale that reached the stars. But the station was not blind to them. Rumors began to spread. Workers whispered about Daniel's late-night visits to the docking bay. Some officers grew suspicious. Commander Hale observed Daniel closely, noting how he lingered near Solara's ship. "Why do you spend so much time with her?" Hale asked one evening, stepping into the engineering bay. Daniel straightened. "She's not a threat, sir. She wants to help. I am just assisting her, that is all." Hale's eyes narrowed. "Assisting? Do you understand what could happen if she deceives us? If she is a spy?" Daniel clenched his fists but kept his voice calm. "I trust her, and I have reason to. From long ago, she kept a promise. That promise is real." Hale studied him for a moment, then left. Daniel knew the commander was not convinced. Trust would take time. That night, Daniel could not sleep. He wandered to the observation deck, staring at Earth below. The planet looked peaceful, fragile, and beautiful. Then he saw a shadow move. In the distance, a small figure stepping lightly across the station's corridors. "Solara?" he called softly. She appeared almost instantly, as if she had been waiting. Her silver-white hair shimmered in the soft light of the station. "I wanted to see you," she said, smiling, "and to speak with you alone." Daniel nodded. I don't know if the others will ever understand what this means. Humans, we are cautious, afraid of the unknown." Solara placed a gentle hand on his arm. "I know, but some things are bigger than fear, Daniel. You taught me that hope is stronger than fear. That lesson, it saved me as a child, and it can save my people now." Daniel felt tears prick his eyes. He had long forgotten how much he had believed in something pure as a child. And now, standing beside Solara, he realized that their promise was not just a memory. It was a mission, a purpose that could unite worlds. "We can do this," he said finally. "Together." Solara nodded, her eyes shining with pride and trust. Together. And as the stars stretched endlessly around them, Daniel understood something profound. The promise they had made as children was not a fantasy. It was destiny. It had brought them back to each other, and it was guiding them toward something greater than themselves, an adventure that could change the future of both Earth and Solara's people. For the first time in years, Daniel felt truly alive. The lonely boy who once waited under the forest sky had grown into a man ready to face the unknown, side by side with the girl who had never forgotten him. The reunion was not just a meeting of old friends. It was the beginning of a journey that would test courage, faith, and the strength of human spirit. And Daniel knew without doubt that this journey would demand everything he had, and everything Solara had. But together, they could face anything. Days passed on Orion Station, but the calm was only a mask. Daniel and Solara worked quietly, combining human skill and Lumerian technology. They built small devices, improved energy systems, and tested communication tools. Each success gave them hope, but it also revealed the dangers they had yet to face. One evening, While examining a holographic map of nearby star systems, Solara's expression grew serious. "Daniel," she said, pointing to a cluster of red lights on the map. "This is the edge of our territory. Beyond this, the Xiran Empire spreads." Daniel frowned. "The Xiran Empire? I've heard stories. They conquer worlds, enslave civilizations. They're merciless." Solara nodded. "Yes. And now, they have detected the presence of my people here. They may see Earth as an easy target. If they attack, your world could be in danger too." Daniel swallowed hard. "So, what do we do?" Solara's eyes glowed faintly. "We must prepare, but preparation alone is not enough. My people have lost hope in our strength. Humans, you show courage in ways my people have forgotten. That is why I brought you here. You must remind them what it means to fight not for conquest, but for survival, for family, for promise." Daniel felt a heavy weight settle on his shoulders. He had never been a soldier. He was an engineer, but when he looked at Solara, he saw trust, determination, and the reminder of their childhood promise. He could not turn away. Over the next week, Daniel worked tirelessly. He adapted Lumerian technology to human systems, creating shields, emergency protocols, and advanced communication networks. Solara taught him how to use energy crystals to power engines faster than any human machine. They laughed sometimes, remembering their childhood games, but their smiles were fleeting, overshadowed by the threat looming in the stars. One night, as they studied an alien device together, a sudden alarm blared through the station. Red lights flashed, echoing through every corridor. "Security breach," the voice shouted. "Unauthorized access to Lumerian technology detected." Daniel's heart raced. "Someone is here." Solara's eyes narrowed. "It is not the Xiran Empire. It is someone inside the station." Daniel felt a cold chill. "A spy?" Solara nodded grimly. "We must find them before it's too late. They could betray us to the Xirans, or worse, misuse this technology." Together, they traced the signal to a maintenance corridor. Hiding behind a stack of crates, they saw a figure moving cautiously, trying to access one of the alien devices. Daniel recognized the uniform. It was a station engineer, one of his colleagues. Daniel stepped forward. "Stop!" he shouted. The figure froze and spun around. It was Mark, a fellow engineer. "Daniel, I'm just..." Mark stammered, but Daniel could see the fear and guilt in his eyes. "Don't lie," Solara said calmly, though her glowing eyes showed warning. "You have been spying. Why?" Mark's shoulders shook. I told someone, the commanders. I thought you were dangerous. That alien, she could be a spy for the Xirans. I wanted to protect Earth." Daniel's hands clenched. "You risked everything, our work, our trust, our people, because you were scared?" Mark looked down. "I didn't know what else to do." Solara's voice softened, though it was firm. "Fear can make people blind, but your choices still matter. Will you help us now, or will you continue to betray us?" Mark hesitated, then nodded slowly. I will help. I see now. I see that you are here to protect us all." The next day, Daniel and Solara held a secret meeting with a small team of trusted humans. They shared the threat of the Xiran Empire, and the alarms on Orion Station had faded, but tension lingered like a shadow in every corridor. Daniel and Solara had worked tirelessly to strengthen defenses, teach their teams, and unite humans and Starborn in preparation for the approaching Xiran fleet. But despite their efforts, trust between the two species remained fragile. Commander Hale's eyes were always on Daniel. Some humans still whispered that Solara might be a spy, that the Starborn could betray them. Fear was a strong force, and suspicion spread faster than hope. One morning, Daniel received an urgent summons to the station council. His heart sank. He knew what this meant. The council had discovered his close collaboration with Solara, and they wanted answers. Stepping into the Grand Council chamber, Daniel felt dozens of eyes on him. Officers, scientists, and leaders filled the room. In the center, Solara stood, calm yet regal. She had requested to accompany him. "Daniel," Commander Hale said, his voice sharp, "you have placed this station, and possibly Earth, at risk by working with an alien. Explain yourself." Daniel swallowed hard but did not waver. "Sir, I understand your concerns, but Solara is not here to harm us. She comes with knowledge, technology, and a mission of peace. Together we can prepare for a threat that is bigger than either humans or Starborn alone." A murmur ran through the council. One member, a scientist named Dr. Varek, spoke sharply. "Peace? Or deception? How do we know she isn't luring us into a trap?" Solara stepped forward. "I speak the truth," she said clearly, her voice ringing through the chamber. "I am Princess Solara of the Lumerian Starborn. I remember a promise I made many years ago to a human boy named Daniel. That promise led me here, and it is real. My people face a threat, and I seek only cooperation." Daniel's heart raced. He took a deep breath and spoke to the council, his voice steady. "This promise is not just a memory. It shows that humans and Starborn can trust each other. Promises are sacred. They are what make us human, what give hope. Solara kept her word, and we can keep ours by standing together." A long silence followed. The council members exchanged cautious glances. Some were moved by Daniel's words, others remained skeptical. Then a new alarm sounded, sharp, urgent. A signal flashed on the main screen. A fleet of Xeran ships had crossed the edge of the solar system. The time for doubt was over. Commander Hale's face was grave. "The Xerans are close. We cannot hesitate. We must make a choice now, trust her or risk everything." Daniel stepped forward, his voice firm. "Commander, Solara has proven her honesty. She came because of a promise. She helped us prepare. If we turn away now, we lose more than trust. We lose hope. And hope is stronger than any weapon." Solara's eyes softened as she looked at him. "I know it is difficult, but fear cannot guide us. Courage must." The council deliberated, but Daniel and Solara's unity had shifted something. Slowly, one by one, members nodded. Humans and Starborn would work together. The test of trust was passed, not without fear, but with courage and faith in one another. Even as the council agreed, the threat of the Xeran fleet loomed larger. Daniel and Solara returned to the engineering bay, their hands brushing as they passed. They worked side by side, coordinating defenses and teaching others to operate both human and Starborn technology. Daniel marveled at the way Solara could combine logic and intuition. She understood machines and energy in ways humans never had. And yet, she valued human courage, believing that hope could drive them farther than technology alone. One evening, while calibrating a shield generator, Solara paused and looked at him. "Daniel, do you remember our promise?" He smiled faintly. "Of course. You never forgot, did you?" Solara shook her head. "Never. And now, our promise is bigger than just the two of us. It is a promise to protect both our worlds, to remind humans and Starborn that courage and hope can overcome fear." Daniel felt a warmth spread in his chest. The boy who once waited under the forest sky had grown into a man who could face the universe, and the girl who once laughed with him under the moonlight was still by his side, teaching him strength and trust. Days later, the station received an unexpected message, a Lumerian scout ship reporting enemy movement. The Xeran fleet had split, sending a smaller strike team toward Earth itself. Panic rippled through the station. Some humans argued for retreat. Some Starborn urged caution. Daniel and Solara knew that hesitation could mean disaster. "We cannot wait," Daniel said. "We have to act together." Solara nodded. "This is why trust matters. We have no time for fear, only action, guided by courage and hope." They coordinated their forces, assigning human and Starborn teams to key stations, integrating defense systems and preparing for battle. Every moment mattered. As night fell, Daniel stood beside Solara on the observation deck, looking at the distant glow of the approaching Xeran ships. "It's coming," he said quietly. Solara placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes, and we will face it together, humans and Starborn. Courage and hope. Nothing can break that. Daniel nodded, feeling the truth in her words. For our promise, he said. For our promise, Solara repeated. And in that moment they both understood something important. The test of trust was not just about proving honesty or loyalty. It was about faith in each other, in the strength of promises, and in the power of hope. That faith would carry them through the coming battle, and maybe, just maybe, protect their worlds from destruction. The Xiran fleet grew larger on the station's view screens, a dark wave of hostile ships advancing through space. But Daniel and Solara were no longer afraid. The test had strengthened them. Humans and Starborn now stood as one, ready to fight, ready to protect, and ready to honor the promise that had survived across time and stars. And as Daniel looked at Solara, he knew that the bond they shared, the childhood promise, the trust, the courage, would guide them through the darkest moments yet to come. For even in the face of overwhelming danger, hope and unity could shine brighter than any weapon, and that hope would be their greatest strength. The Xiran fleet loomed in the darkness of space like a tide of black steel. The stars that once seemed calm and peaceful now glimmered with the reflection of thousands of enemy ships, each one a threat to Earth and Orion Station. The humans and Starborn had worked tirelessly to prepare for this day, but as the fleet advanced, fear still rippled through even the bravest hearts. Daniel stood on the observation deck, Solara beside him. Together, they looked out at the approaching ships. The boy who once waited under the stars and the girl who had never forgotten him were now facing the greatest challenge of their lives. We can't fail, Daniel said quietly. If we fail, it's not just the station. Earth could be destroyed. Solara's silver-white hair glimmered in the station lights. We won't fail. Courage and hope brought us this far, and they will carry us through. Her words reminded Daniel of the promise they made as children under the forest sky. That simple, heartfelt promise had grown into a bond that now connected two worlds. The battle began without warning. Xiran ships darted forward, firing energy blasts toward the May station. Alarms blared and warning lights flashed across every corridor. Humans and Starborn sprang into action, taking their positions at consoles, weapon stations, and shield generators. Daniel guided engineers, helping them integrate Lumerian energy crystals into the station's defense systems. Solara directed the Starborn forces, teaching them how to coordinate attacks with human technology. Together, they were a bridge between two worlds. Focus on the shields, Daniel shouted. Keep them up. Don't let a single ship break through. Solara's voice carried across the comms. Strike in formation. Target their engines. Remember, courage is stronger than fear. The humans followed her lead, inspired by her confidence and calm determination. Even the soldiers who had doubted Solara began to trust her guidance. Daniel's hands moved quickly, adjusting power flows, redirecting energy, and ensuring that the shields held firm against the Xiran assault. His mind was sharp, his heart steady. Every action mattered. Every decision could save lives. As the battle raged, Daniel noticed something. The Xiran fleet, though vast and powerful, seemed uncoordinated. Their attacks were relentless but predictable. Solara noticed it too. They are strong, she said over the comms, but they lack unity. Their fear controls them. Humans and Starborn fight with hope. That makes us stronger than they realize. Daniel smiled faintly. Just like the promise, he said. We fight together. That's our strength. Using a combination of human ingenuity and Lumerian technology, Daniel and Solara led a counterattack. Energy pulses shot from the station, striking the Xiran ship's engines, disabling many at once. Starborn energy shields wrapped around human vessels, protecting them from blasts that would have destroyed them. Slowly, the tide of battle began to turn. The Xirans were powerful, but their fear and lack of trust among themselves made them vulnerable. Humans and Starborn, united by courage and hope, became unstoppable. Amid the chaos, Daniel saw a small Xiran strike ship breaking through the outer shields, heading toward the station's core. Without hesitation, he activated a defense turret and fired. The ship shuddered, then exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Solara's voice came over the comms, calm and commanding. "Keep your focus, Daniel. This is not over." Together, they continued to fight side by side, using every skill, every ounce of courage, every lesson learned Frohild.